Hi guys, today I'm going to read this true account from a 26-year-old former soldier who describes his recent date with a woman he plainly thought was fairly wonderful, incredibly good-looking, and someone who really excited him. Everything went horribly wrong from the first date he went on with her. She wasn't at all like the folks he was used to being around when he first met her. In a restaurant he usually frequented, she had worked as a waiter. They ultimately went on a date, and by the time it was through, he had just walked out, leaving her with the bill. This is an amazing tale. Even though it is quick, it provides you with men who are single or in committed relationships with a great example. I only suggest that you have one drink when you first meet a woman on a date. If you don't consume alcohol, consider a cup of coffee or a cup of tea from your favorite coffee shop. Something affordable, since the last thing you want is to go out with a woman you are really attracted to, spend a lot of money, and go to a fancy place just to find that she is someone you would never want to see again. You will observe how effectively the guy in the story manages things. However, many men wish they had the guts to simply say, "Hey, you're going to pay for it," or to just walk out. As a result, you waste your time and have a negative experience of the location you took her, particularly this place that you enjoy among many other things. So with only one drink, you'll be able to tell what she's truly like. In the story, the guy who first went out with her could tell what she was like. "Let me tell you a little bit about myself," he adds. "I'm 26 years old, a dedicated worker, and a former soldier. I also don't tolerate disrespect in my personal life or at my job." We'll refer to the girl in the story as Kate. Kate works as a waiter at a restaurant that I enjoy visiting occasionally for lunch. I first believed she was out of my league when we first met. She's a tall and thin brunette. She is an extremely attractive girl, so I didn't believe I had much of a chance. Now that I've had time to reflect, I understand why she was single, and boys, you'll absolutely understand why she was single. He claims to have first met her at a play held at a place where he frequently had lunch. Guys, I've simply come to the point in my life where I don't believe in the genuineness of those who depend on my tips or who work for me to support themselves. Therefore, I would be quite dubious there. Additionally, it would definitely be best to avoid going on a date with someone who works there if this is a location he enjoys frequenting. If things don't work out, you don't want to return to your favorite location and experience awkwardness. Some guys might not care, but I don't see the point in adding stress to your life. I served alongside a sergeant who once warned me that if you don't stand for anything, you will fall for anything, the man adds. Following that advice, I made the choice to approach her. When I entered and asked a question, she always responded positively. We decided to meet at a well-known steakhouse and bar nearby. On Monday nights, I frequently go there for a steak. She said she would drive herself when I offered to give her a lift. Even though I had had a reservation, she lamented the wait for a table as soon as I arrived. This eatery is constantly quite crowded on a Friday night. Guys, their first conversation on a date begins with her complaining about something that is really typical and occurs frequently in restaurants. It's not a major issue. It's okay if you have to wait 10 minutes. God forbid you to have to wait 10 or 20 minutes. Get a drink at the bar. If you avoid drinking, then get anything else and have a chat. Start your date right there. I mean, it's not necessary that you have to be seated at a table for you to begin talking. She has the option of getting something else or just talking, but she starts off whining. This is a sign of things to come. He claims that there were problems from the moment we sat down. She said that when I placed my order for alcohol, she questioned if I would truly drink in her presence. Wherever I travel, I always have the same drink as my dinner. I told her, "Why would you alter who you are only to please her?" She has already started complaining about having to wait for the reservation, the table, and now the drink. It's a clear window into her personality. She's now complaining because you're going to drink, so you have to. You'll do it. Does she really think you'll act differently in her presence? Did she say anything about the fact that you're just not going to drink? What's her issue exactly? Is she a drinker? She can't drink alcohol with anyone else at the same table, can she? Personally, I believe that a portion of this was really an assessment of your willingness to submit to her demands. You can see here what a hassle she is to be around. We began talking. I realized she had also served in the military. If anyone is curious, we are both soldiers from the same military. She was a supplier, whereas I was an infantryman. She made an apparent groan when I informed her I was in the army. She claimed she had dated military men in the past and they were all jerks. The evening nevertheless passed without a hitch. She is now complaining about your service and your actions there. The wait for the reservation was too long, you were drinking in front of her, and now she is basically stating that men like you are all just below average. Wow, most likely, this is a test to see whether you'll make an effort to disprove that you're a jerk or anything similar. But more significantly, as you can see, he just needed one drink to finish it quickly and declare that he needed to go. But instead, he is seated at the table with this broad as they are waiting to dine. As fresh diners began to enter the establishment, our food started arriving. A man wearing a political shirt supporting President Trump's campaign then passed by our table. She expressed contempt. The woman informed me that she couldn't believe that the restaurant hosted fascists. This was really upsetting for me. I attended Trump's inspection of my battalion during our first deployment. She had a temper tantrum about how everything was so racist and about how the media was constantly spewing nonsense about the president. You know what? It's crucial to understand a person's position from the beginning so that you don't date her again. But even then, the individual would have gone in and seen that shirt at the bar where you were having that one drink, so that information might have been obtained there. It would have been simpler for you in such a situation. You sip your beverage and converse with your woman. Great if it works. If not, you pay for your beverage and leave. Simple. Once again, just one drink, gentlemen. That is all you need to know about a female to determine whether you two have any sort of relationship. She asked my opinion, but I told her I needed to use the restroom. It's pretty clear the date wasn't going well. The discussion had turned towards politics, which isn't a good idea to talk about on your first date because people get really emotional about topics such as politics or religion. It's best to stay away from them and discuss other things instead. So this girl really got under the guy's skin and he needed to take a walk to clear his head. He says, "I don't tolerate disrespect from anyone, and I'm not good with people who disrespect me." Good. That's something every guy should have, the guts to walk away from some girl who doesn't understand respect. The average good man would put up with something like this and maybe laugh it off, but there are times when somebody is really upset and walks away. This date has been a train wreck to begin with anyway. I walked to the bar and requested that our checks be separate. I paid for my half and went back to the table. As I approached the table, I saw she was on the phone with one of her friends. She had a missed call from the same friend just when we were sitting down, so she can't take an hour out of her time to not be on the phone speaking to her friend. That's a red flag for me, he says. I heard her talking about me and it wasn't very nice. I grabbed my leather jacket and pushed into my chair. She asked me where I was going, and I told her I'm going home and she can pay for her own meal. The next time I came into her workplace, she gave me dirty looks and spilled a drink on my table. I think it's cool that even though she is who she is, you enjoy that place for food and everything, so you kept going with life as usual. You must be careful these days because of this. A female could come across as quite kind, yet she might end up being a complete weirdo. This story's main takeaway is that you should definitely go on your first date somewhere affordable. On the first date, you don't need to blow a lot of cash, since if it doesn't work out, you won't have squandered your money on a female who probably would have gotten a free drink or supper anyhow. Second, I believe it's crucial to determine whether a female is comfortable with a guy who doesn't take her to a fancy restaurant. She shouldn't be around when your financial situation improves if she can't handle you while things are tough financially. Thirdly, it demonstrates the female you're dating is greedy. There is no way I would be with a lady who enjoys traveling to expensive locations and expects you to pay for it throughout your life. So guys, hoped you learned some important lessons today. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in.